Break your limb, it's the Shaolin routine. There comes a moment in every man's life where the pain of staying the same becomes greater than the pain of change. It's not dramatic, it's not loud, it's quiet, a whisper that says you're capable of more. But most ignore that voice, because to break your limits, you must first break everything that's holding you back: the comfort, the laziness, the excuses, the fragile ego that tells you it's good enough. The Shaolin monks don't just train the body. They train the mind to obey, the spirit to endure, and the heart to remain still when the world is on fire. This routine, it's not a workout, it's a confrontation with your limits. Every repetition is a choice. Will you give in or go further? Will you stay soft or sharpen your edge? You don't need motivation. You need discipline. You need to remember who you are, not just when it's easy, but especially when it hurts. Because true strength isn't loud. It doesn't flex in mirrors. It rises in silence when no one is watching and no one is cheering. This is the Shaolin way, and if you're ready to break your limb, it's welcome to the path. Many people wait for motivation to move. They wait for the perfect moment, the right mood, the external spark that makes everything feel easy. But this is where they misunderstand the path. The warrior does not wait to feel ready. He moves because the path demands it, regardless of how he feels. This is discipline, and discipline is greater than motivation. Motivation is like fire from paper. It burns hot, but it dies quickly. Discipline is the coal beneath the mountain. It stays, it endures. It transforms over time. In the Shaolin tradition, the young monk rises before the sun, not because he wants to, not because he feels like it, but because he gave his word to the path, and in that word is something more sacred than comfort. It is commitment. You see, discipline is not just doing hard things. It's doing the right thing when you no longer feel like it. Some mornings your mind will say, sleep. Some days your body will say, enough. But inside you there is another voice. Quieter, older, it whispers, I did not come this far to stop now. And in that moment you choose. You either listen to the weakness of the moment or the wisdom of your mission. The Shaolin routine is simple. Movements repeated over and over, but it's never really about the movement. It's about the mind performing the movement. Can you bring presence when you feel distracted? Can you stay steady when your legs shake? Can you honor your word when no one is watching? This is discipline. It is not glamorous. It is not loud. It is not exciting. But it is the one force that separates the lost from the focused. The average of the elite, the ordinary man from the master. Most people give up because they confuse feelings with facts. They say, I'm tired, so I'll stop. I'm unmotivated, so I'll skip it. I'm not seeing progress, so maybe I'm not meant for this. But feelings are not the truth. They are weather, and the disciplined man learns to train in rain or shine. This is why the Shaolin monk does not train only when it's convenient. He trains because it is a way of life. He trains because it shapes his spirit. He trains because it is the path that keeps him awake when the world is asleep. And if you understand this, you begin to break your limits, not because you suddenly feel strong, but because you are no longer negotiating with weakness. Discipline is freedom, not the freedom to do whatever you want, but the freedom to become who you truly are by removing who you are not. Every day you choose comfort or growth, delay or action, excuse or execution, and every choice builds a brick. You are either building a prison or a temple, so I ask you, when your body wants to stop, when your mind wants to drift, When your emotions want to quit, will you remain? Will you show up again? Because that's where real confidence is born, not from words, but from the self-respect that comes from keeping your promises even when it's hard. Especially when it's hard. Discipline teaches you something that motivation never can, that you are not a victim of your moods. You are the master of your movement, and when you move consistently with intention, you awaken something ancient inside you. You don't just build muscle, you build character. You don't just break limits, you break illusions. The illusion that you're weak, the illusion that you need to feel ready, the illusion that growth comes without sacrifice. So let this be your reminder. You don't need to feel like it. You just need to decide. And once you decide, discipline will carry you through the storms, through the boredom, through the resistance. And on the other side, you will meet the man you were always meant to be. In the West, the body is often trained separately from the mind. You go to the gym for muscles, you meditate for peace. But in the Shaolin tradition, these are not two separate things. They are mirrors. The body reflects the state of the mind. Tension in the shoulders is often not physical. It is a burden carried for too long. Tightness in the chest is not always weakness. It is unspoken emotion. A rigid spine may reveal not just poor posture, but a heart that's been closed off. When the mind is scattered, so is your movement. When the mind is afraid, the body flinches. When the mind is focused, the body becomes a blade. This is why the Shaolin routine is not just exercise. It is internal alignment. Each movement is a dialogue between mind and muscle. Each breath a bridge between thought and action. You must begin to see yourself as a system, not a collection of parts, but a harmony of energies. The way you walk, sit, and breathe, these are expressions of your inner state. So ask yourself, what is my body telling the world? And more importantly, what is it telling me? A distracted man cannot master his body because he does not live in it. He is in his head, lost in thought, anxious about things that haven't happened. And in that disconnection, he weakens. Shaolin practice demands presence. You cannot half-step through a form. You cannot perform mindlessly. Because the moment your attention drifts, so does your balance, your power, your control. This is the deeper reason behind repetition. We repeat movements not to memorize them, but to merge with them, until the kick is not just a kick, but an extension of your clarity. Until the stance is not just a shape, but a declaration, I am here, fully. The way you hold your body says more than your words. A man hunched over, eyes always downward, is not just tired. He is often hiding from the world, from himself. But a man who stands tall, grounded in breath and movement, he commands without speaking. He earns respect without asking. Because his body is integrated with his mind, there is no conflict between the two. You cannot fake this. People feel it when your posture says confidence, but your eyes say fear. They feel it when your handshake says strength, but your voice shakes with insecurity. The world responds not to the noise you make, but to the energy you carry. This is why your training must be sacred. Not just what you do, but how you do it. A push-up performed with intention strengthens more than the muscle. It builds the self. You want to break your limits, then stop separating the physical from the mental. Train both, feed both, cleanse both, because only when your body becomes a servant of your mind can your life become a servant of your purpose. And don't misunderstand, this doesn't mean perfection. It means alignment. It means recognizing that when your movements are sloppy, when your body feels heavy, it may not be physical exhaustion. It may be a message. Something in your spirit needs attention. So instead of fighting your body, listen to it. It holds wisdom. It remembers your habits. It stores your emotions. And it reflects whether you are living in discipline or drifting in disconnection. You can tell the truth of a man not by his words, but by how he moves through space. So move like a man who knows himself. Move with control, with grace, with power. Let your every step become a ritual of presence. Let your body become a living reminder that you are awake, not just existing. And in that embodiment, you will find something far greater than fitness. You will find freedom. There is a common belief in modern life that pain is bad, that discomfort is a signal to stop, that when something hurts, it should be avoided. But this belief is false. Pain is not your enemy. Pain is your teacher. Pain is the invitation to step beyond the known. In the Shaolin temple, pain is not seen as a punishment. It is part of the process, a sacred language, the language through which the body reveals its limits and dares you to go further. You see, you can read all the books, you can watch all the videos, you can study the mindset of warriors, but none of it becomes yours until you feel it in your bones, until you meet the moment when your muscles scream, your breath shortens, your mind whispers, stop. And yet you continue. That is where transformation begins, not in the comfort zone, not in the easy sets, but in the report you didn't want to do, in the round you wanted to skip, in the moment when everything inside you said no and your discipline answered yes. Pain is the gatekeeper. It tests your sincerity. It asks, how badly do you want this? Not in words, but in sweat. In strain, in silence. This is why so few people ever master anything, because the moment pain arrives, they retreat. They look for shortcuts, they start over, they blame circumstances, but the monk does not retreat. He sits with the pain, he listens, he moves through it not to suffer, but to awaken, because behind every layer of pain, it is a hidden strength. You think you're done, but you're not. You think you've reached your edge, but the edge is an illusion. It's just fear wearing the mask of truth. And when you push past that edge, you begin to realize something incredible, that the pain didn't come to break you. It came to build you, to harden your will, to clear your mind, to remind you that you are not fragile. You are forged. Every scar, every ache, every tremble in your muscles, these are not signs of weakness. They are symbols of your effort, proof that you showed up, proof that you went somewhere most people avoid. And let me tell you something few will say. The pain never goes away completely, but your relationship to it changes. You no longer fear it. You no longer run from it. You learn to breathe through it, to move with it, to smile at it, because you know what it means. It means you're alive. It means you're growing. It means you're in the arena, not watching from the sidelines. There is a type of man who folds at the first sign of difficulty, and there is a type of man who sees difficulty and leans in. You must choose who you will be, because pain is coming either way, pain from growth or pain from regret. The monk chooses the pain of growth because that pain leads to freedom, that pain leads to truth. That pain leads to the version of you who no longer breaks when life gets heavy, but who rises when others fall. So the next time your body shakes, the next time your mind says, I can't, the next time your routine becomes uncomfortable, don't quit. Don't retreat. Remember, this is the invitation. This is the door. This is the exact moment where you get to prove to yourself that you are more than you thought. The Shaolin routine is not designed to make you comfortable. It is designed to make you real, Let the pain speak. Let it burn, let it strip away the layers of ego and distraction, and on the other side you will find the version of yourself that no longer fears the fire because he became it. We live in a world addicted to complexity, always chasing the newest method, the flashiest move, the most advanced routine, but the truth is, it's not the complex that shapes the master. It's the simple, practiced with absolute intention. In the Shaolin tradition, you do not become advanced by doing more. You become advanced by doing less with greater depth. A single stance repeated with precision, a basic punch practiced 10,000 times, not for show, not for ego, but because within that repetition lies truth. The body loves rhythm, the mind craves structure, and the soul finds peace in simplicity. But here is the danger: modern minds are restless, and when something feels simple, we assume it's not enough. We get bored, we chase stimulation, but boredom is a test. It asks, can you stay with the basics long enough to let them transform you? The Shaolin routine is not made of fancy movements. It is made of fundamentals, executed with full awareness, over and over again. Why? Because power is not in the movement itself, but in the presence you bring to it. When you master the basics, you develop control, not just physical control, but mental clarity, the ability to stay steady when the world rushes around you. Most people fail not because they didn't try, but because they didn't stay. They didn't give them enough time to work on them. They move from routine to routine, from idea to idea, never realizing that depth is not found in variety but in devotion. A basic push-up done with full attention, it is more powerful than 100 fancy movements done half-heartedly. A breath taken with awareness does more for your nervous system than 1,000 distractions. The Shaolin monks understand this. They stay with the form, they refine, they go deeper, until every gesture becomes sacred, until their body becomes a reflection of the universe. Simple, clear, powerful. And this is where the real strength begins to show. You want to break your limits, then stop adding more. Start removing what's unnecessary, strip away the noise, let go of the gimmicks, return to the foundation. Ask yourself, can I stand with integrity? Can I breathe with discipline? Can I repeat the same movement without the need for applause? Because this is mastery. Anyone can be impressive for a moment, but few can be excellent for a lifetime. Excellence is built in silence, through small daily choices, through consistent effort, even when it's not exciting. So when you feel like quitting because it's boring, remember boring is beautiful. Boring is where the breakthroughs happen. The Shaolin routine teaches you that greatness is not hidden in complexity. It is revealed in simplicity. It's not about doing more, it's about doing what matters better. So return to your breath, return to your stance. Return to the basics, not because you are weak, but because you are wise. Because the man who masters the fundamentals masters himself. There is a silent epidemic in our world today, the weakening of attention. We are pulled in every direction. Notifications, noise, numbness. But what if I told you that your focus, your most powerful weapon, not your strength? Not your intelligence, but your attention. The Shaolin monk understands this. In every movement his focus is complete. Not scattered, not half present, but fully here. This is not natural, it is trained. Focus is not something you are born with. It is a muscle, and like every muscle, it weakens when ignored. It grows when challenged. Every day the world offers you a choice, distraction or devotion. Most people don't choose, they react, they scroll, they drift, but the warrior knows. Energy flows where attention goes. If your focus is divided, your energy is divided. And where there is no energy, there is no power, no presence, no progress. This is why the Shaolin routine is not just physical, it is mental refinement. When you hold a stance for minutes, when your legs burn, and your mind screams for escape, that is where the training begins. Can you stay with the discomfort? Can you remain centered while the body shakes? Because if you can train your attention there, you can train it anywhere. You begin to carry that same focus into your relationships, into your work, into your mission. You become a man of depth in a world obsessed with surface. Most men today can't sit still for 5 minutes. They fidget, they check their phone, they chase the next hit of stimulation. And this constant scattering of focus, it weakens the will, it drains the spirit, it creates a man who is busy but not effective, moving but not progressing. But the focused man, he doesn't just do, he directs. He moves with purpose, speaks with clarity, chooses with intention. This kind of man becomes magnetic because presence is rare. And what is rare is valuable. You want to know your true power. Observe how long you can stay with a single task, a single breath, a single repetition. That's the measure of your focus. And your focus, it is the measure of your life. It's not just about meditation on the cushion. It's about meditation in motion. While you train, while you walk, while you live, can you bring your whole self to this moment? Because this moment is all you have. The unfocused mind is always elsewhere, regretting the past, worrying about the future, missing the now. But the Shaolin warrior knows peace lives in presence, and presence lives in focus. So, begin to train it every day, even in the small things. When you drink water, just drink. When you train, train with full effort. When you speak, speak with honesty. These are not small things, they are everything. Because the man who can control his focus can control his reality. And when you learn to master that, you no longer chase power, you become it. There is something sacred about repetition. To the undisciplined, it appears boring. To the distracted, it feels unnecessary. But to the Shaolin warrior, it is everything. The routine is not just a schedule, it is not just structure, it is not just movement, it is a ritual. And a ritual, when done with presence, with intention, becomes a sacred fire, one that burns away weakness, burns away excuses, burns away the identity that no longer serves you. In the Shaolin temple, the day begins early, before the sun, before the noise, before the world makes demands. A man must first meet himself. That is what the routine offers you. A mirror, not of your achievements, but of your consistency. It shows you who you are when no one is watching. It reveals whether your values are lived or just spoken. The repetition of the forms, the breathwork, the silence, this is not about perfection. It is about integration. You don't train to impress, you train to align. Because every time you show up, even when it's cold, even when you're tired, even when the motivation is gone, you're sending a message to yourself. I am not here to negotiate with weakness. This is why the routine matters. It's not about how fast you progress. It's about how faithfully you return. The warrior is not made by intensity. He is made by continuity. Even the rain, gentle and slow, can carve stone if it falls every day. You want to break your limits, then stop waiting for motivation. Make the routine non-negotiable. Make it part of your identity. As natural as eating, as essential as breath. because your routine is not about what you do, it's about who you become through doing it. And this is where transformation happens. It is not sudden. It is not loud. It does not announce itself with fireworks. It whispers, one quiet decision at a time, one disciplined breath, one return to form, until one day you look in the mirror and you no longer see the man who doubted himself. You see the man who endured, who built himself, one step, one movement, one sacred repetition at a time. This is the way of the Shaolin, not to chase greatness, but to live it, in the mundane, in the daily. In the details, let your routine become your temple. Let it become the place you return to when the world becomes loud, when life becomes chaotic, when your emotions try to lead you astray. Return, breathe, move with presence. Because in this ritual, you remember who you are, not the man others want you to be, not the man defined by failure or fear, but the warrior in waiting, awakening through practice. So don't underestimate your routine. Protect it. Honor it. Let it shape you. Because the way you do your routine, it's the way you do your life. And when done with a full heart, a full mind, a full soul, your routine becomes your power. Your rhythm, your return to truth. The truth that you were never lacking, only waiting to be revealed through ritual. So now you know it was never about the perfect body, never about impressing others, never about chasing something outside of yourself. It was always about the quiet commitment, the decision to show up, to face yourself, to break through, not because anyone is watching, but because you finally are. This world will test you, it will distract you, it will tempt you to settle, to soften, to forget your edge. But somewhere deep inside, you already know you were never meant to live numb. You were never meant to move half-ass, leap through your days. You were meant to be awake, alive, focused, free, and that path does not begin in the comfort zone. It begins with the first breath of awareness, the first rep in stillness, the first step back to yourself. Break your limits, not because you hate where you are, but because you know who you're meant to become. This isn't motivation. This is the truth. The Shaolin routine is not a workout. It's a way of reclaiming your discipline, rebuilding your integrity, and remembering your power. So if this message touched you, if it sparked even the smallest flame, don't keep it to yourself. Like the video, so the message reaches those who are lost in the noise. Comment with the moment that hit you the hardest, so others can feel what you felt. Share it with someone who needs to remember who they are. And subscribe to this channel if you're ready to walk the path, again and again, until the way becomes you. I'll be here, training beside you in silence every step of the way. Until next time, stay strong, stay still, and never forget you are more than you think.